Hey, Determined Destiny family, it's Coach Kevin coming back at you with another video for the Determined Destiny family. I want to encourage you to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button so that you get these video updates weekly, so that you can stay in tune with always striving to reach your destiny. Because that's what it's all about, always striving to reach your destiny. We're not perfect, but as long as we're continuing to work on this thing every single day, we will continue to see progress towards our destiny. And that's what it's all about. So hit the subscribe button. Check us out on the website, determineddestiny.org, where we got fresh new content and some opportunities for you to engage with us as family members by picking how you want to engage. So we've got lecture series, we got coaching series, we got webinar opportunities, lots of opportunities to engage with the Determined Destiny coaches so that we help our young men be the best that they can be. So today's video, we're going to talk about disrupting the day. Disrupting the day to reach your destiny. And I've got three main topics of conversation today, where we're going to talk about challenging the status quo. We're going to talk about overcoming disadvantages and injustices. And then we're going to talk about how at some point you got to cut the ties with people. And sometimes it's people that you really care about. So come on with me. Let's take this journey together as we help our young men get closer and more determined about reaching their destiny. So today we're going to talk about disrupting the day to reach your destiny. We get in this habit and these routines of life where we just kind of go through the motions of life. Day in and day out. Everything kind of looks the same. It feels the same. We go through the motions. We know we're going to get up. We're going to go to school. We're going to go to school. We're going to go to practice. And after practice, we're going to go to class. We hit the classes. Then we're going to come home. And some of us may go to work after we get home. And some of us may just get on the game, play the game, or get on the phone, or go to the courts, or whatever the case may be. Hopefully you're not just sitting around watching TV, but you get in this rut of just kind of doing the same thing, day in and day out. And what I want to do is challenge you to challenge the status quo. So go against the status quo. Just because you get in this habit of doing things a certain way, if it's not productive, we got to disrupt the status quo. And sometimes, even if it feels like you're kind of being productive in that, you got to disrupt the status quo to get that extra jolt of energy that you need to accomplish your destiny. So challenge the status quo. So I heard about a family that always got together on Saturday mornings, and they took that time on Saturday mornings to sit down and have breakfast together. And it was like a 9 o'clock, the family was up at the breakfast table and sitting and talking. And that time is valuable, without a doubt. You gotta have that time. Whether it's a single mom trying to get her kids straight in terms of taking care of their chores or being responsible around the house, whatever it is that she's trying to get them to do. Having that time to have those conversations is valuable. But in talking about challenging the status quo, if that happens at 9 o'clock and you're a young man who's really trying to get plugged into your destiny, and you normally get up about 8:30 in order to make it to the table at 9, then maybe you need to get up at 7 in order to challenge the status quo. That's what I mean by that. Do something a little bit different to get closer to your destiny. Get out of that rut of the same old in order to get closer to your destiny. So take some time to sit down and think about, where have I just got in this routine of just doing the same old? And how can I challenge the status quo to get closer to my destiny? Next, we want to talk about overcoming disadvantages and injustices. I'm going to be real honest with you on this one, because we all sometimes feel like we're in a situation where we're up against some disadvantages or injustices in life, and me included. So from the time I was in 6th grade to the time I graduated high school, I went to 7 different schools. And I felt like I was at a disadvantage because I'm either at a new school trying to make new friends or moving to a new house and trying to get settled in this new place every single year, all the time, from the time I was in 6th grade to the time I graduated. I felt like I was at a disadvantage. I felt like I was up against some injustices. And many of you know, if you've been following us for any time, that, I wasn't brought up with my mom. I was brought up with my dad. And it was a challenge because on one end, it's a benefit to be with your father, especially as a young man. But on the other end, it wasn't the ideal situation. It wasn't like we were, in a stable home and living life all peachy kiki all the time. I mean, it was challenging. So I'm saying that to say that sometimes we feel like we're at a disadvantage or we have some injustices in life that we're up against. But what we have to be willing to do is examine that situation, understand where we are, and overcome that if we're going to reach our destiny. And that's what it's really all about. Overcoming the disadvantages and injustices of life. We all have them. The thing is, what are you going to do about it? Or what are you going to do about it to reach your destiny? Are you going to allow that disadvantage or that injustice that you're feeling to paralyze you and cause you to be stuck right there and end up with some generational recycling of some bad conditions of life? Or are you going to go against that, overcome those things so that you can reach your destiny? We can't get parked. We can't get settled. We can't have a pity party about some disadvantages or injustices in life. We got to fight if we're going to reach our destiny. We got to recognize what that passion is on the inside of us and not allow the disadvantages or injustices of life to put that passion and that fire out in us. We got to find a way to overcome those obstacles. Next, I want to talk about cutting the ties with those who they're not for you. They just are not for you. And this is a tough one because sometimes we think somebody is for us because they're there in the physical sense. But they really don't help us get closer to our destiny. They really don't put in the same amount of effort in talking us through problems as they do to help us get into problems. So sometimes we kind of come to this realization that everybody that's there in the physical sense is not really there to take us to our destiny. Sometimes you might have to cut ties with somebody because they really aren't for you in terms of reaching your destiny in life. Once you identify what your passion is, that thing that drives you on the inside, whether it's sport or academics or theater or band or dance or gaming or coding or whatever that thing is that you identify as your passion, if the people that you're with aren't taking you closer to that, you might have to evaluate how much time you're spending with them, and you might have to cut them off. So don't always think because somebody is there physically that they're there spiritually, emotionally, connecting with you to take you to your destiny. And then when you identify people that are flat out against you, you know they are not with you. Because every time you say something positive, they come back with something negative. You know they're not for you. So you might as well cut the ties with those people right from the start. Stop valuing what they say. Stop even asking their opinion. Don't even tell them what you're up to because they're not for you. So cut the ties and leave them alone because they're not going to help you reach your destiny. And that's what we're all about, destiny living. Hey, I'm Coach Kevin. This has been another episode of being more determined about your destiny. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Give me some feedback, put some comments in the chat, and let's keep this conversation going about helping our young men get closer to their destiny. Because the more we work at this, the more determined they get. The more determined they get, the more likely they are to reach their destiny in life. And that's what we're all about. DeterminedDestiny.org. I'm Coach Kevin. Hit the subscribe button and let's keep this going. It's going to be a great summer. Hang in there with us.